Hello, my dear friends. Today we are going to talk about one of the binary analysis and management framework, which is we called as Viper. So if we go for GitHub repositories, we see Viper malware framework is a pretty extensive one, and we can install it on our system. So why we are going to execute this particular binary analysis and management framework? So basically, Viper is a very valuable tool for malware researchers, security analysts, and reverse engineers because it addresses several key challenges in managing and analyzing the malicious binaries. Why we should use it? Because it can act as a centralized malware and exploit management tool. It will help us to organize multiple malware samples, exploit, and research tools, which can become chaotic without a structured solution. Why? Because today we see lots of malware binaries. They try to exploit multiple, let's say, scenarios, and one of the scenario is even we store those malware binaries in some kind of, let's say, virtual box or VMwares. Then also there are chance that they will exploit their scenarios and they will execute. So for that, we will create a virtual environment, and in that virtual environment, this particular Viper framework will be used. Another thing, lots of repetitive tasks are related in malware analysis. So Viper is very helpful for automation of this kind of tasks like classification, metadata extraction, and sample searching, which lots of researchers are focused on deeper analysis. So based upon this, we will start, let's say, installing this Viper framework, and let me show you how to do it. So currently, when we are seeing Viper framework, so there are two development frameworks happening right now. So the original Viper is almost 4 to 5 years old, and currently the Viper 2 version is executing. Now, in this particular video, we are going to install one more step from this particular Viper framework. I will show you how the actual Viper framework looks at. So it is a CLI version. Today we are going to install a Viper Web version. So Viper Web is basically a web version which can be very useful for our analysis. And we are going to install this Viper Web version alongside Viper. Okay, so once we go to the installation steps, these steps are available in which we can check Viper can be installed in the system or not. And before doing all those installation, few model dependencies also there. So we will install these model dependencies also. But first what we have done all this automation for all these steps so that Viper can be installed on any kind of system. So let me show you how to do it. So we will create a Python script which is install viper.python, and we will add one particular Python script here. So I will show you this script in the comment section. So what it will do, right now whatever information we have shown here in the installation page, all this information is automated in this particular script. So let me run this particular script and show you the result. So what it will do, it will update and it will install all the related development versions. So first thing what we have seen for Viper Web, the development version is very important, and especially Python version 3.9, that is highly important, which can be used here. So once it is installed, I will show you few scenarios right now. Let's say if I log in as a root user, I will go to root folder and I will do ls-alt. As of now, here you can see that no other system or no other file has been installed here because we are using a fresh version of Ubuntu 22.02. Okay, it's a Linux version. And let's see if I'm doing ls-alt here. Now we can see the Viper is getting installed, correct? So if you see here, the verifying Viper installation and Viper is installed here. So we are going to add this particular Viper wave, this one, inside this root folder of Viper. Okay. Now let me show you how the Viper looks like, how it will be working. So let's say if I run Viper here, it will give me lots of information. Let me check with the help. So it will give us all the information about analysis, all the steps. Let me run about. It is very important to run about so that we can see the configuration pages. So right now, if you see, the configuration file is stored in the root viper.com. So this is the particular folder what we are talking right now. And if you see, one more module path is there, root viper modules, but I know that this particular modules path is not available. Let me go and let me check there. So if I go for Viper and if I do ls-alt, we can see that Viper conf is there. This particular file is there, but modules path is not there. So if you see, there is no module path available here. So what we can do, we will run update modules. So it will analyze all those scenarios and then it will install all the modules which are required here. Let's wait for some time. It will install all these modules in let's say 10-20 seconds, not more than that. Okay, so we are seeing this that Viper web is used and sorry, Viper modules are getting installed. It will download multiple files. And now if we see here, if we do ls-alt, now we can see a modules folder has been created here. Okay. So now if we go to modules folder and do ls-alt, we can see multiple folders has been created here. So why it is important? So whenever we do multiple analysis, it can show the virus total, Yara scan, then strings, HTML parser, Joe sandbox. So it can go to Pupu also. So it will give us a functionality in a very easier way that it can go to multiple analysis engines. So these binaries will be stored in a Viper web and this analysis engine will be used here. Okay, so now I think all the parameters has been installed here. We are running Viper again. Now you can see the message. You have 36 modules installed. Let me run again the help. And if you see here, previously we were seeing only these particular parameters. Now after updating, we have seen these 36 modules. So it can have a clamp AV, which is antivirus module, scan for files from a local clamp AV daemon. We can submit files to Cuckoo sandbox. Then we can parse multiple McAfee bubs files. Then one of the important parameter is MISP. We can upload and query IOCs from MISP instances. So when, let's say, we have installed MISP in our other infrastructure and we wanted to analyze that particular IOC, whether it's malicious, so that particular parameter we can upload to MISP. Also, we can do that lookup of the file on the virus tuner. And very important thing, we can scan the stored files with YARA rules. So YARA rules will be created for this particular malicious file, and that malicious file will be stored along with the YARA rules creation on this particular framework. Now this framework is excellent, but why we are going from CLI version? Because this version is, let's say, it's very extensive if you wanted to work in a CLI version, but what we are trying to do, we are installing a web version inside this CLI version. Let me show you why this web version is used here, because it will give us a lots of modularity how to install, and once it is installed I will show you how it will be very easy rather than working on the CLI version. So right now if you see, all the things has been installed inside the Viper folder. Now we have to install a Viper web version. So if you see, this is the particular Viper web version we have to install. So let us git clone. Now we are installing this Viper web inside a Viper version which is in the root folder. Let me show you this, right? And then we will create a virtual environment with specific Python 3.9. So if I do ls-alt, you can see the Viper web has been git clone inside this particular framework. Now, before installing this Viper web, we will go to installation here and we will install the module dependencies. But before that, we have to create a virtual environment, because whatever Viper dependencies we will install, it will be stored on a Ubuntu framework and Ubuntu infrastructure, not on a virtual infrastructure. So for that, we have to do specific changes. So what we have to do, we have to install specific Python repositories in the infrastructure. So this is the particular command which will search for Python 3 pip and Python 3 venv, which is a virtual environment kit. So let's install it. Now along this side, we have a particular requirement for Python 3.9. Okay, so let's say if I do a Python version, so if you see, commands are like Python 3 version should be there. Perfect. So we have Python 3.10.12, but Viper requires Python 3.9 version. So let's say if I have to install a Python 3.9, so let me show you error here. So for that, we have to add one repository in our Ubuntu box, which is ppa datesnix ppa. Once it is installed, then we can add a Python 3.9 version. Okay, so it is installed. Now let me install Python 3.9 version. Okay, you can see it is going to datesnix ppa and then it will install Python 3.9. Perfect. So it is installed right now. Let me check the version of Python 3.9. So we have a Python 3.9 version installed, and let me check Python 3 also. So now you can see the difference. We have 3.921 also installed and 3.10 also installed. Now with the help of Python 3.9, we have to create a virtual environment. Okay. Now the one problem statement what I would like to say here, we have to install this particular into Viper2. So let me go to Viper2 and let me do it again. Okay, so everything is done. And now we have to activate this particular environment. Now please look at this particular step, which is very important, that Viper web should be inside this .viper folder, and this virtual environment should be activated inside this Viper web. Now whatever we will execute, everything will be happening inside the Viper web version, and there are two important files. One is requirement.txt and manage.py. Now all this installation we will continue, but before that we have to install few more things which are related to successful installation. Now inside this particular virtual environment we will install these module dependencies. Okay, so exim tool is already installed. Now we have mentioned that clam AV antivirus module is there. We can install, it is already installed. Since we have already installed let's say Viper CLI version, so majority of the scenario is already completed. Okay, so all dependencies are completed. Now we can move to the next version. So when we are going to a next version, there are few more things which we have to install before going for requirements.txt. So if you see the requirements.txt, it is mostly working on Django version. So Django is a framework which can be useful for web applications. So first thing, before going to this particular parameter, let me install few Django patterns. It will download and it will install, and then we will go for requirement.txt. So Django is installed, then let me install PD5. Oh, before that we have to do a pip install upgrade pip, because lots of times those packages will be a broken packages if we don't upgrade it. Perfect. So it's upgraded in the virtual environment. Okay. So let me do few more addition. We will install pip install PD5, pip install bitstream. Okay, so I think now we are ready for installation, and one more parameter is there. It will not install, but we will just try to install it here. It's verify 6 git. Okay, it will ask for some information and it will show like it will not work, but no need to worry, it will not have that kind of impact. Now we are ready to work with this particular requirement.txt. So we will install this particular txt requirements file, and you can see all the versions mentioned in this particular requirement.txt. It will install. Perfect. So now the next parameter we have is inside this particular framework we have to install Viper also. So this step is very important, because if Viper framework is not installed inside the virtual environment of a Viper base, then we will get an error that Viper module is not available. So to install a Viper module, we have to manually again install a Viper framework inside the Viper web. So you can see that it's getting installed right now. Perfect. So it is installed and there is no error. Now we can go for addition of few more steps which are required after the Viper module installation. Okay, so if you see multiple packages for virus total and other information already added here, and we have to do a upgrade PIP. So if any kind of, let's say, compatibility issue is there, it will be solved. Perfect. So everything is completed. Now, if we go to our folder, virtual environment is already created. We are also inside the Viper web, and now we have to check for this manage.py. So what is this particular Python file will do? So it will import the sys folder, and from settings, it will import multiple arguments. So these arguments will be, let me try to do it. Okay, so there are multiple sub commands. Okay, so let me do a help. So if you see, it will check for multiple parameters. It can change the password, it can create a super user, then it can remove lots of things. Okay, it can generate admin for us, it can create multiple jobs, it can create multiple commands. Okay, so we will run for few commands from this particular manage.py. One is a run server, so like this, run server plus and run files profile server, and we will go for create user, and before that we have to run this migrate command. So this migrate will do all these addition of the admins into this particular instances. Okay, so let me run migrate first. Perfect. So if you see, the migrate has been executed, but there is one particular error. So what first migrate has done, it has added multiple authentication scenarios. Admin has been added. Okay. Now if you see this OLE file, JBX API, modules PDF, PD file, these are few, let's say 2-3 errors which we are happening. Okay, because this OLE file is not installed inside this particular folder. So for that, what we will do, we will go and again install this particular repositories. Okay. Let me do pip install. If you remember, we have installed this previously also, but it has to be installed again, then this error will be solved. Okay, now everything has been installed. So if you see this JBX API, it has again downloaded and installed. Now PDFide is very important one here. We have to install it again. Perfect. So PDFide is also installed. Now we have already completed everything from migration to running. Now let's say, now we have to go and run the command python3 manage run server to check whether server is installed successfully or not. And if you see, the version is running in this particular link. It will give us error for PDFide and crypto cipher, and let's see how this version will look. Now if you see, this is the basic version what we are seeing right now. Okay, so this is not a advanced version in terms of Django files. So we have to install few more things here. So let me stop this particular server and let me run it again. Okay, all things are installed properly. Okay, so all things we have checked here, and sometimes error can be coming for few things. So for that we have to edit 3 files in this particular section. So lots of time these error are happening. So first we are going in the virtual environment packages in the crypto and Cypher, because we were getting lots of error in the Cypher. And we will check the range here. It should not have X range. It is range, then it is fine, and it will not have any error. Then the second file which we'll check is blowfish.python. Everything should have range rather than X range. Here also you can see the range is there, so no need to make any changes. And X or Pi will be there or not, let me check. It is blank, so it is not available right now in the new version. Now let us move to the another stage where we have to upgrade the pipes again. Everything is done properly. Perfect. So all requirements also added. And then now we have to do a run server again. Let's hope this time this run server will show a updated version. Okay, again also we are getting few errors. So one more package is missing here, which is Crypto. Now it is already installed. Let me try to run this command again. Okay, let's try to open this link now. Okay, so it is having same error right now, so we have to solve this error first. It will not show a proper version. Oh, before that we have to make one more changes that we have missed somewhere. Before doing a run server, we have to run one more command, static. So now if we see here in the Viper folder, we have installed some static fields here. Okay, so this is very important stage because that's why we are getting all these kind of errors. This is not expected version. And let me do again the execution of same command. So for that we have to go from here to web, do Python 3 its requirements.txt, then we have to again install it. With upgrade and force reinstallation. So it will again check if anything is missing after doing this particular command. Nothing is missing, everything is perfect. We will again check if any parameter for Django already satisfied. Perfect. Everything is working fine right now. Now let's try to run this server again. Perfect. Now here what we have shown to you, that you can see the clear difference between the earlier version and the new version. So earlier version, what I can say, it was not a proper version of Viper framework, which can give you all the features in a very good sense. So right now, if you see, this particular Viper malware framework analysis has been installed and it is running properly. So this particular thing happened because of this static folder what we have installed. Okay. So here if you see the static folder is there, that's why everything is running properly. Now let's create a user here. So let me stop it. And again, we will have to go for this migrate command. So command is create super user. Okay. Now these errors will come, but I think these errors are just minimalistic errors. So let me add here. Virus analyst as a user. Email we should keep blank, and then we have to add the password here. Okay, so everything is done, and then let me log in with this particular credentials. Before that, we have to again start our server. It will be start. Okay, so now if we are in the login page, and if you see here, now we are getting this Viper framework installed correctly. Okay, so now let's say if we have to check any kind of files, so we can upload a sample file from here. If we have to check any kind of, let's say, larger file structure which is already zip archived, and we will upload them. We can also download some samples from some URLs, or we can download some samples from VirusTotal. All those things are available here, and everything is happening in the virtual environment. So we need not have to worry about any kind of malicious parameters happening right now. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let's check for some malicious files, which is, let's say, highly malicious, and we wanted to check it. Okay, let me show you one of the URL. So let's say if we are going to this particular virus total URL. Okay, now this particular URL is having one particular invoice. So this invoice is basically inside the, basically this is a document which we can say that it's a malicious one. Okay, it can be going in the category of spyware or malware. And let me again check one more scenario. Perfect. So let's say if we are again going to check few more scenarios like this one. Okay, this particular setup.exe also having lots of malicious parameters, and it is also said that it is one of the version of malware. So now if we have to download it, how we can do it? If we can check, we can take direct hash and check from virus total, or we can try to check from a sample URL. So if you see this virus total URL we have added here, and then we have clicked on download. So now if you see, this is the particular framework is showing us this particular file. Okay, so it will show us a MD5 value, SHA value, then 256 value, and we can send it for Cuckoo also. So right now Cuckoo is not installed. We are going to install in the next version. Then we will see the Cuckoo is also, it can be sent to Cuckoo, okay, for external analysis. Now one more important parameter, along with the CLI version, we can create YARA rules also here for our malicious analysis, and we can see lots of parameters happening here. Okay, so that's how this Viper framework will be very useful for malware analysis, and we will show you in the next version how to run this analysis for lots of malicious parameters. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you very much.